Murder is the charge after a brawl between rival motorcycle gangs on Long Island.
Local fans watch as Team Canada gets the gold for the first time in men's hockey in 50 years.
Live from Salt Lake, home of the 2002 Winter Olympic Games. This is News Channel 4, Olympic Edition.
Good evening from Salt Lake City. I'm Linda Beccaro.
And I'm Glenn Walker in New York. With a Ranger and a Devil, both Stanley Cup champions, standing in front of the nets. It was a classic matchup on ice, but it was bigger than their local NHL rivalry. This was the USA versus Canada, skating for Olympic gold. Bruce Beck joins us now from Salt Lake City with more. Bruce?
Glenn, what a story. It was a battle of one country's national pastime against another's national pride. Team USA against Team Canada. And as you saw right here on NBC4, the Canadians are Olympic champions, winning the gold medal over Team USA 5-2. We'll have highlights tonight at 11. But just to paint the picture for you, it was quite a scene outside the E-Center earlier today. Military personnel out in full force, heavy security. Fans of both teams, both countries hyped up for this North American dream hockey matchup. But as you saw, the Canadian fans had the last laugh as their team wins the gold for the first time since 1952. And back in New York City, Canadian hockey fans burst out in celebration and song as Canada got the gold after a hard-paced, hard-fought match against Team USA. Here's the scene at the Park Avenue Country Club in Midtown. A victory worth a toast, or two, or three, or more. By the way, the final medal count is now in. The U.S. ends up with 34 medals, Linda. Germany 35. A tremendous showing by the U.S. in the Winter Olympics after their best total in previous years was 13. But
I think they wanted 20 originally. They far exceeded that.
They did well, and what a way to end up with the gold medal hockey game.
All right, thank you so much, Bruce. We'll see you a little bit later. And things, unfortunately, did get a little bit rowdy on the streets of Salt Lake City overnight. Police in riot gear scattered an unruly crowd from a downtown park set up for Olympic festivities. The park was filled to capacity and hundreds of people still wanted to get in. Some impatient partiers tossed beer cans and bottles. Police say they arrested more than 30 people. Glenn?
Linda, on Long Island tonight, a man who police say is a member of the Hells Angels is now charged with murder. The charge stems from Saturday's wild brawl involving rival motorcycle gangs. Right now, Tony Aiello is in Plainview with more. Tony.
Well, Glenn, a total of about 75 men are under arrest and are being arraigned at the courthouse behind me this evening. Cops say these are well-seasoned motorcycle gang members. Their average age is close to 50. All face charges now after a brawl at the so-called Hellraiser Ball. His shirt and one of his many tattoos proclaim Raymond Dwyer a proud member of the Hells Angels. He's allegedly an avenging angel. Cops say Dwyer killed a man when he fired a gun into a crowd of pagans, rival gang members.
He produces a handgun and he begins to take aim at rival gang members. Dwyer has been identified as a member of Hells Angels, and he was shooting at pagans.
It happened at the Hells Angels Hellraiser's Ball, a tattoo, music, and motorcycle show. Nassau County Police say about 1,000 people were at the event Saturday afternoon when 10 vans filled with pagans crashed the ball. The pagans rushed inside, knocking over displays and starting fights. Cops say the pagans carried axe handles and baseball bats, brass knuckles and knives, but left their machine gun and other firearms outside. The apparent goal was to disrupt an event attended by Sonny Barger, a legendary Hells Angels leader. Cops say the 73 pagans arrested as they fled the gunfire came mostly from Ohio, Virginia, and Pennsylvania. Law enforcement pretty much shut down the Long Island pagan chapter last decade.
But the pagans as a national organization still exists and is still active, and quite obviously they see Long Island as being their turf.
Police found hundreds of weapons on the floor of the Vanderbilt Banquet Hall after the melee, including switchblades and this lipstick knife. But they're still looking for the only gun that was fired, allegedly by Raymond Dwyer, killing 50-year-old Robert Rutherford of Pennsylvania.
He's adamant that he did not pull any triggers, he did not have any guns that evening.
Of the 75 men arrested, 73 are members of the Pagans. They're charged mostly with riot, gang assault, and weapons possession. A short time ago, a judge refused to set bond for the alleged Hell's Angel shooter. That's 38-year-old Raymond Dwyer, a tattoo artist from Oceanside. For now, reporting live in Hempstead, Tony Aiello, News Channel 4. Back to Linda in Salt Lake.
All right, thank you very much, Tony. And now for the latest in the war on terrorism. If Iraq were to become the next target of the U.S. war on terrorism, it reportedly wouldn't begin anytime soon. A report in the Washington Post says it could take up to a year before the U.S. is militarily ready to launch a strike that would topple Saddam Hussein's government and keep Iraq from developing weapons of mass destruction. Pentagon planners say it would take at least 6 months to produce the precision systems to guide bombs. But the Post reports the first steps toward a military strike are already underway. And top Bush administration officials believe Osama bin Laden is still alive. American military officials say he's probably living in a remote area of Afghanistan along the Pakistani border. Officials also believe a third of al-Qaeda's leadership was killed during Operation Enduring Freedom. Glenn?
Linda, Italian police are investigating a possible terrorist attempt against the U.S. Embassy in Rome. Investigators uncovered carved holes in an underground sewer tunnel next to the embassy building. The holes are large enough for a person to crawl through. Police also seized maps of the underground tunnel system that runs underneath downtown Rome. Investigators believe the discovery is connected to the arrest of a group of men with ties to al-Qaeda who were caught with explosives and toxic chemicals just last week. Tonight, Senator Hillary Clinton is winding up her 2-day solidarity visit to Israel. On her first trip to Israel as senator, Clinton spent a busy day visiting symbolic sites and meeting with Israeli leaders. Senior correspondent Gabe Pressman is in Jerusalem with the latest.
She came to Mount Herzl in Jerusalem, accompanied by the daughter of slain Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, to visit his grave. The wreath Clinton laid bore the words, Shalom Chaver, farewell friend, words borrowed from her husband's eulogy at Rabin's funeral. Later, a solemn visit to the Western Wall, one of the holiest sites of the Jewish religion. Following a tradition, she inserted a note in the wall with a prayer to God.
What did you ask for? Oh, Gabe, that's between me and upstairs, all right?
Israelis seem to respond to her expressions of solidarity with their country.
I think it's great moral support for Israel. I think she's very pro-Israel, definitely according to her speech last night. Her speech last night was very good.
Last night, she strongly denounced Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat as untrustworthy and no partner for peace. Today, Jerusalem Mayor Ehud Olmert showed her the spectacular view from his office. I asked the mayor, known as a conservative, do you agree with her criticism of Mr. Arafat?
You expect that I will contradict Senator Clinton from the left side? Tell me.
I like having the mayor on my left.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ariel Sharon met with his cabinet. On the table, whether to withdraw the Israeli tax keeping Arafat under virtual house arrest in Ramallah. The decision to allow Arafat freedom to move around that town, though not elsewhere in the Palestinian-held West Bank or Gaza. The dilemma for American and Israeli leaders is that while they believe that Yasser Arafat is a failed leader, they privately acknowledge that the Palestinian people still want him. In Jerusalem, Gabe Pressman, News Channel 4.
Still ahead on News Channel 4 at 6, the families of those killed in the 1993 attack on the World Trade Center asked that their loved ones not be forgotten.
And scanning the sides of buildings in Lower Manhattan to detect damage.
And later, one of the biggest attractions at the Olympics isn't the Winter Games, but instead a water fountain. Find out why when News Channel 4 at 6 continues.
A daring inspection 30 stories above ground. The mission to hunt damage from the Twin Towers disaster. Inspectors used mountain climbing techniques and rappelled down the side of a landmark building. The building at 55 Liberty Street is just 2 blocks from ground zero. They carried video cameras and checked for cracks in the facade of the 96-year-old tower. The results will not be known for a while. It's part of a Lower Manhattan preservation project to check landmarks after the tower's collapse. Linda?
Glenn, September 11th was not the first time the United States was attacked by terrorists, but it was the first time the federal government compensated victims' families left behind. And then, of course, there were the millions of dollars in charitable donations. Well, now the families of the 1993 bombing have come together to say, what about us? Kendra Farn has the story.
They stood on the steps of City Hall determined to rectify what they feel is an injustice. 9 years ago this week, they lost their loved ones in the World Trade Center bombing. 4 of the 6 victims were Port Authority employees, and yes, there are lawsuits still pending. But for the past 5 months, they've watched as the government and charities have reached out to the more than 3,000 families devastated on September 11th, something they never saw after the terrorist attack of '93.
Our families were not included. We stand here today, forgotten but not gone, asking only that our loved ones be remembered and that our families be included.
Just because there's been more people affected, you're gonna benefit them and forget others.
President Bush signed a 9/11 tax relief bill that also included anthrax and Oklahoma City families, but these families were overlooked. Senator Schumer, who has pledged to get what financial support he can for these families, says this country paid a horrible price by not learning from the first tragedy on this very same spot.
I said in 1993, the same evil people from halfway around the world tried to blow up the World Trade Center. 6 Americans were killed, and what was our response as a society? We shrugged our shoulders, we washed our hands of it, and we went on our merry way.
And what about the '93 memorial that's been destroyed with the Twin Towers, they wonder? No one from the city has even called to assure them that these 6 names will be etched in stone again. In Lower Manhattan, Kendra Farn, News Channel 4.
Still ahead, find out why the cold weather in Salt Lake City isn't keeping people out of a popular water fountain.
Also ahead, find out how much longer our mild weather will last. John Marshall will have the forecast coming up next.
One of the most popular attractions here in Salt Lake has nothing to do with sports. It's a fountain where timing is everything. Joe Avila reports.
It's 30 degrees outside, and these kids are running in a fountain. No, it's not just any fountain. It's the Snowflake Fountain at Olympic Legacy Plaza. It's been the backdrop for many live stories from Salt Lake these past 3 weeks. Now, the water jets are often timed with the music. So if you're old enough and you know the song, you can figure out when the water's going to spout. Soaking wet. Hold out here. You're having a great time, aren't you? You're going to be having a good time tomorrow when you get sick? You don't know. How about you?
I'm having a great time.
Now, what's so fun about running in that water?
I don't know.
You don't care?
No.
You're having a good time,
yeah.
Right? It's not just kids playing in the fountain, but the kids have the most fun. On a different day, 2 adults running through the fountain slipped on ice and broke their ankles. But why would a mother let her child do this?
Soaking beyond soaking. Yeah.
You're worried she's going to get sick?
We're praying that she won't. She just got over something.
Oh, good. So that's why you can put her in the fountain.
Yeah, you know.
You're shivering.
Yeah, we came to sing for our program here.
And now you're shivering. Is this better than what you've seen?
Yeah.
This is the best part. This is better than the games?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's just hope their Olympic memory doesn't turn into the flu. Joe Avila, News Channel 4.
And those kids are out there even at night getting cold. Unbelievable. Well, the fountain has also been a popular spot for young lovers. In fact, dozens of couples have gotten engaged there since the games began. So lots of fun. Glenn, back to you in New York.
I guess they're not the ones who broke their ankles. Okay, time for the weather forecast with John Marshall. John?
Glenn, our spring-like weather will continue the next several days. Unbelievable. Where has winter been? Outside right now, still mild, still pleasant. The current reading in Central Park at this hour. As we take a look at the city skyline, the reading is at 41 degrees, mostly clear skies. The wind out of the south at 12 miles an hour. Humidity is 53%. Barometric pressure high as high pressure is influencing our weather and continues to work offshore. Our high today in Central Park made it up to 47 degrees. Overnight low 31. Around the region right now where the air is calm, the temperature in the 30s. Elsewhere in the 40s. High pressure and control means fair weather the next couple of days. But a big change is coming with the jet stream out of Canada, and by Wednesday, cold weather, maybe some scattered morning snow showers with temperatures falling through the 30s. Our forecast for the tri-state area for tonight, we're calling for clear skies, a temperature of 36. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, mostly sunny, 39. The rest of your forecast for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, mild, 54 degrees. Look at Tuesday, 58. Partly sunny. Wednesday morning, here comes that significant cold front, windy, scattered snow showers, temperatures remaining in the 30s. As we wrap up February, can you believe it? Thursday and Friday, temperatures will be in the upper 30s. What winter, Glenn? We've had nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. All right, thank you, John. Stay with us. We're going to go back to Salt Lake City and Bruce Beck right after this.
Bruce is back now with sports, and what a game this afternoon.
A nice way to close things up, Linda. Day 17 of the Olympics, the final day, the final event, the final gold. What a way to finish. The United States and Canada for gold and glory and pride in men's ice hockey. And as you saw here in NBC4 earlier today, Team Canada won a thriller 5-2 for their first gold in 50 years. Joe Sakic scored 2 goals and assisted on 2 more, while Jerome Iginla added 2 goals and had an assist. Martin Brodeur outdueled Mike Richter, stopping 31 of 33 shots. We'll have highlights and post-game reaction tonight at 11. Meanwhile, he was one of the most hyped performers of the Olympics. He set his goals high, gunning for 4 gold medals in speed skating. But last night, Apollo Ono, the teenage sensation from Seattle, fell a little short again. In the 500 meters, on the next-to-last turn, he collided with Japanese skater Satoru Tereo, finished third, and was disqualified. But he still had a chance to medal in the 5,000-meter relay. The Americans were the defending world champions in the event, but with 26 laps to go, Rusty Smith clipped the lane marker, and Team USA never recovered. They finished 4th and last in the 4-team race. No medals last night for Ono, but looking at the big picture, he was pleased.
For me, it was no disappointment at all. I definitely wanted to do well in the relay in the 500, but I got 2 medals under my first Olympics, and I came here, with all the circumstances, all the pressures that I've been going through, and all my injuries. I'm just so happy to walk away with what I have.
Closing ceremonies tonight. Now to the hardwood in a bi-coastal matchup. The Lakers, one of the best in the West. The Knicks, one of the worst in the East. Highlights from the Garden. First quarter, Latrell Sprewell with the jumper. Knicks up 9-8. That's as good as it got. It was the last New York lead. The Lakers caught fire in the first, shooting 66% in the quarter. They had plenty of high percentage shots like this one from Shaquille O'Neal. LA up 32-18 after 1. In the second, Mark Jackson gets caught napping. Brian Shaw picks his pocket, then feeds Shaq for the flush. 30 points, 15 boards of the day for Shaq. Lakers up 14 at the half. Kobe Bryant showed up as well. Third quarter, Kobe flies by the Knicks defense for the slam. He had 27. Lakers up 77-63. Then in the fourth, Kobe makes the steal, looks up court, the feed to Devin George for the hoop and the foul. LA cruises 107-91. It sounds like the Knicks are throwing in the towel.
I think the thing that's most difficult, though, is to keep playing hard and keep trying to play with energy. Like you said, it is tough because you're down, and it's just been a tough year, and nothing seems to be going your way. And it's just hard to get up and get going when you're down like that. But you have to find it within yourself to try to make it happen.
Yeah, I would say this is as tough as it's been. It's it's just hard because I think you go out there and you think you're competing or you're playing hard, but you're really not.
The Knicks are 20-34, but the Nets looking for their 5th win in a row, hosting Charlotte. The Nets trail by 14 going into the 4th, but storm back. Jason Kidd with a beautiful reverse scoop. That put the Nets up 89-86. Kidd had 21 points and 15 assists. But the Hornets came right back. Baron Davis with the hoop and the foul, tying the game at 89. Here it is, biggest play of the game. It's Kidd with the heave to Richard Jefferson. The rookie leaves it for Lucius Harris. What a play. Harris at 17 off the bench. The lead held up, and the Nets beat the Hornets for their 6th straight, 95-93. Now to college hoops and the Red Storm of St. John's. What a challenge today, visiting number 3 Duke in Cameron Indoor Stadium. St. John's came out of the gate strong. Marcus Hatton makes the steal. Ahead to Andre Stanley for the hoop and the foul. Red Storm up 18-11. But Duke responded off the steal. Mike Dunleavy all the way for the flush. Blue Devils up 25-20. They blew it open from there. Jason Williams drills the three. Duke with an amazing 35-1 run to close the first half. They blow out St. John's 97-55. In golf, Kevin Sutherland defeated Scott McCarron in the Match Play Championship. And that's a look at sports. Looking forward to the closing ceremonies, Linda?
Yeah, the opening was great, so looking forward to the closing tonight.
Looking forward to going home?
Well, I like it here.
I want to see my family.
Well, likewise. I want to see my husband.
Okay.
And speaking of New York, let's go back to Glenn.
Yeah, we got a couple of empty seats here to fill. But John Marshall's here for another look at the snowless 5-day forecast.
That's what it's been. I mean, what kind of winter we had? Mild temperatures, and we need the rain and the snow. We're not going to get it. Look at Monday, mostly sunny skies, 54. Tuesday, up to 58 degrees. Then that strong cold front sweeps through the area. Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, windy on Wednesday, partly sunny, some scattered snow showers, temperatures falling to the 30s. Thursday and Friday, partly sunny with temperatures remaining in the upper 30s. And by the way, Friday is the last day of February.
All right. Thank you very much, John. All right, Linda?
Thank you, Glenn. And that does it for this edition of News Channel 4 at 6. Don't miss the closing ceremony tonight. You can watch it live right here on NBC 4. Highlights will include In Sync, Christina Aguilera, Dorothy Hamill, and a spectacular 4-minute fireworks show.
Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the closing ceremony tonight, and we'll see you again at 11 o'clock.